Pantoufleee! Hello everyone, Pantoufleee here today for a new review concerning the Dracula, the tier 7 Blitz Nation tank and one of the most broken tanks this game ever hosted. And we're gonna see why directly right now. First thing first, we should talk a little bit about the gun, but don't worry, everything is simply amazing with this tank. The aim time is not the best, 3.7 seconds, the gun dispersion is 0.32, so it does the job. The DPM is 2.1k, so it's a really good DPM for a tier 7, you shouldn't struggle too much. Reload time is 6.40 seconds. Average penetration. The average penetration with regular shells sucks because it's only 155. But don't worry, as soon as you load gold shells, you will not struggle penetrating anything because you have 237. Your HE penetration is quite low, or at least I feel like it's quite low. You're not gonna penetrate a lot of HEs, but who cares? You don't really need that. For the average damage, it's fine. 225 with regular shells, 190 with the gold one, and 270 with the explosive shell. The cool thing about the gun is that it's extremely versatile thanks to its 10 degrees of gun depression and also the fact that the tank is low profile, which will artificially increase that gun depression. So overall, the gun is a mighty one. For the turret, the turn rate is excellent. If I had to compare it, I would probably compare it with a light tank and not a medium. Same for the mobility of this tank, which is the best mobility at tier 7, light included. What I mean here is that the top speed of this tank and your engine power is so freaking broken that you are gonna go from 0 to 60 kilometers per hour in less than 6 seconds. So it's so freaking easy to relocate, circle, and do mobility stuffs with this tank, and that's why everybody loves it. And if we combine that with the fact that you nearly have 66 degrees per second of all turn rate speed, oh boy, does it makes it an amazing tank to play. Now, there are several things you gotta understand about this tank. We're gonna talk about the equipments first. There is the gun rammer I'm playing it with because I don't need calibrated shell. If I struggle too much, I just switch to gold, that's easier. After I go for the enhanced gun laying drive to reduce my aim speed a little bit. And finally, I go for the refined gun, but that's a mistake. I wanted to go for the vertical stabilizer and I used the vertical stabilizer in my game. I don't know why I had the refined gun, maybe because I checked something. But yeah, if you need to reduce the aiming time as much as possible, and as you're gonna shoot a lot of times with this tank while being in movement, you should definitely go for the vertical stabilizer. After I go for the improved module because it's gonna allow you to reduce your damage from ramming, because with this tank, as you are extremely fast, you can ram all the lights and some mediums in this game, and that's why I go for the improved modules. After I go for the improved assembly because you don't have any armor, so you need to increase your HP. The toolbox because it's gonna increase your module repair speed, and you don't need the enhanced track because this tank has a special ability because it was an Halloween tank, and the special ability allows you with this tank to repair instantly your tracks when they are damaged, which makes the enhanced track completely useless on this tank. Now, we go for the improved optics because we are gonna spot for our team thanks to our great mobility, so we don't need a camo. After I go for the improved control, it might be surprising that I don't go for the engine accelerator, but your mobility is already really great. And the improved control allows you to have a better hull turn rate, and when you have a better hull turn rate, you can easily circle your targets. That's why I go for the improved control. And finally, I am consumable to use adrenaline for a longer period of time when I'm using it. Concerning the armor profile, it's simple. You are paper literally everywhere. Everybody will penetrate you with HE as long as they don't shoot your spaced armor, which is here and here. And yeah, don't try with this tank. Literally, don't try to make your enemies bounce. The only thing you can do is come around the corner if they can see only this, and you make them shoot that. Because if they shoot this area, it's gonna count as spaced armor. They're gonna destroy your tracks, but you're gonna repair them in less than 1 second, and you're not gonna take any shots because it's spaced armor only. Also, if you are facing a smasher or something like that and you're 100% not covered and like you're straight in front of him or something, I don't know, you pop around the corner and you see a smasher, always put your tank like this, because as it's mainly covered with spaced armor, if a smasher shoot HE here, he is not gonna bounce you, but you're gonna take less HE damage than if you take it frontally, because here you're probably gonna take 1k damage, sorry, and if you take it here, probably around 400-500, so it's worth it. Now, concerning the playstyle, it's not simple. In fact, I think this tank is quite hard to play, especially for new players, because as you don't have any armor, you're gonna be punished for every single mistake. But once you master it, it's completely broken. There are two ways actually to play that tank, the light style or the medium style. That's why we're gonna have two replays today, one playing like a medium and one playing like a light. Here you're watching at the medium replay. Thanks to your great mobility, you can take advanced position as long as your team is following you. Here, for example, I took an advanced position which allowed me to spot all the enemies early, to know where they are going, etc. And that's exactly what you want to do with the Dracula. You're actually the eyes of your team. And that's what I did here. I managed to spot the VK, I managed to spot the SU and all those tanks that were camping in the spawn. And therefore, when you spot everybody for your team, it allows your teammates to actually know what to do, how to counter them. And if you do that, it's a guaranteed win with your Dracula. Except, of course, if you're playing with brain dead monkeys, which is gonna arrive at least 1/3 of the time. But hey, who are we to judge? Overall, to sum up the playstyle of this tank, when you play it like a medium, you have to get into an all-down position. Don't try to stay in all-down, don't mind me, you need to be in a peekaboo. But from an all-down position, you need to use your 10 degrees of gun depression. This way you're gonna show only your turret and not the rest of the tank, which makes it easier for your opponents to miss your tank and therefore for you to keep your health points. Of course, when you see an opportunity such as this one I just took here, you go in straight, you use your mobility and you circle tanks. You can circle mediums, you can even circle some lights sometimes. Of course, it's not gonna happen a lot. I do not advise you to circle light tanks. As long as it's medium from the tier 6, you should be able to do it. Just look at this, it's insane. We managed to circle the STRV and the AC Sentinel just taking 2 shots, maximum 2 shots from them. This tank is completely broken when played correctly. And as we use the mobility, now we go back to the peekaboo from an all-down situation. Again, that's what we did against the Leo. Can we get the VK? No, we can't. We only have to deal with the Churchill. And here on the Churchill, as he's alone and it's the end of the game, we are full life, we are probably gonna try to ram him. You're gonna see if we have the time, if my teammates manage to sneak a shot or not. Here we go, we track the guy, unfortunately only tracks. I pop some adrenaline, I tried to ram it, but my team decided that no, it was not possible. So that was the medium playstyle. Always try to be in a peekaboo situation. At the beginning of the battle, you spot early to know where the enemies are going, so your team knows where they have to go in order to follow you. And if you want, in the end game, you try to ram tanks as long as you still have HPs remaining. Now, concerning the light playstyle, which is the playstyle you're gonna adopt every time you are not top tier. Or at least that's what I do and it works pretty effectively. Here, all you gotta do is finding a really advanced position. And when I say really, I mean really advanced position. Here, for example, I know I have the best mobility out of all the tanks here. So I decided to really take an aggressive position, nearly going into the bush of the enemy team in order to see if they are here. As you can see, nobody spotted. What does it mean? It means that they are not on this side. And that's where things are becoming interesting, because now I just have to snipe them from a long distance, and it works pretty effectively with the Dracula, simply because your mobility is so great that even if you sneak 1 or 2 shots and people try to turn around to sneak a shot on you, they will not penetrate because you will be gone before they manage to actually turn their turret. And so here we are playing like a light support, which means you don't need to spot them because they're all spotted, so you stay into the distance and you try to sneak as much shots as possible. Of course, at one time we'll have to go in, but for the moment, as nobody cares about us, we don't need to take any risks. That's why we stay in the back. There is the SU to deal with, there is also the P43 TER, and waiting for me to deal with them, I don't need to take risks. Of course, as the time passes by and you see that we are winning, you have to actually play aggressively. You gotta go in, you know, and that's exactly what we're gonna do. We tried to get the P43 TER, we did not manage to get him, and now we go in. We go in because, as you can see, the heavies and tank destroyers on the other side of the map are pretty occupied, so even if we go in, they will probably not take care of us. Here, sneaking my first HE from the whole freaking review there. I tell tell you, the HE, you're not gonna use it quite often. And now we are still in the light playstyle. Now that we know that those tanks can't win and they're not gonna focus me, I just go in and I'm gonna use my mobility to try to avoid their shots. So here I go, avoiding the T-32. Now I only have to deal with the Gravedigger and we're fine. Here you're gonna see the circling method as well, because you can circle easily. Just look at the Gravedigger. You have such a mobility that it's impossible for anything to catch up with your engine power, which makes it really easy for you to destroy tanks when they are in the open. Hope you enjoyed that review. I think that now you know how to play the Dracula. Of course, it's a broken tank as long as you know what you're doing, so please don't buy or don't try your luck on this tank if you are not already. You don't need to be an advanced player, but at least know what peekaboo, earl down and circling means. If you don't know that, good luck with it. Hope you enjoyed. If that's the case, feel free to subscribe, like and share, and I'm gonna see you soon, probably for an Helsing review. See ya, guys.